So, why don't we hear about the Bible code anymore? Good morning, my friends. It's I, John, sitting out here on the back deck on a brisk morning. It's actually in the low 60s here in Akron, Ohio, and the sun's about to cross my roof over here in a little bit. So, I thought I'd hop out here with my mug of coffee and shoot a quick video. The Bible code. Back in the 1990s, people were thought the Bible contained some sort of hidden message. And they started promoting this idea of this hidden knowledge within a specific code within the Bible itself, and that we should be looking for prophecy within the Bible in this special code. Well, where does all this come from? They claimed it predicted 9/11. They claimed it predicted assassinations, but you don't hear about it a lot anymore because most of the claims they were claiming never happened. Most of the stuff that they were said was going to happen just did not come to pass. And so people just kind of let the idea of the Bible code drift off into obscurity. The reason of this is because it was proven to be pretty false by some pretty smart people. And I'd like to kind of share a little bit of the story of that because it's important to understand that the Bible code, like all of the ancient conspiracies and the apocalyptic future prophecies that people are selling as assets to make themselves money, always end up falling to the wayside and becoming debunked because they just don't hold up to be true. So in the 1990s, there was this push towards the Bible code. There were TV documentaries, there were books that were sold. There was New Age gurus who were doing speeches on the idea of the secret Bible code that was out there that we should be paying more attention to. But they were getting amazing speaking fees talking about it. That concept that there was a secret Bible code does come from Judaism, actually, believe it or not. But it wasn't something that held true in the end because of what I'm going to reveal later in this video. When I myself first heard of the Bible code, I thought, "Oh, that's real! Wow, really cool! That's amazing!" And I was very much fascinated, and I went down the rabbit hole looking at all of it. Oh wow, this is going to happen. They said this is going to happen, and some guy saw this assassination attempt, so he went to try to warn the person, and in the end, it didn't play out to be true. The concept of a secret Bible code is stuck in a couple different things. Number one, that the Bible itself is the univocal idea or words of God. But we know that that's not true historically because it's written by multiple people over generations and it contradicts itself repeatedly. So it can't be univocal if it's constantly contradicting itself. I always use the reference of Judas's death. There's two different versions in the Bible. It can't be a univocal truth if there's two versions of the same story, and that's just one. The Walking on Water has three versions, and there's contradiction after contradiction after contradiction after contradiction. Genesis itself says that the animals were made before humans, and the humans were made before the animals. So it really comes down to this understanding that the Bible itself is a very, very, very flawed document. But the question you have to ask yourself is, if it is univocal, why would there need to be a secret code within it? Wasn't God being clear enough the first time? So they're looking for a mystery within a mystery, and they're trying to make it univocal to make it seem as if that they are subjugated to this God, and this God knows all and is uh, dictating how life will play out. As I said, the concept of a Bible code goes back centuries to the Jewish scholars in gematria and equidistant letter sequences in the Torah. They would say that every ninth word or something, every ninth letter meant something, and they would write it down. And they would put it in a grid, and then they would go over that grid and find words, and then they would find if words intersected, and they would create this whole, like, it's like a spiritual crossword puzzle. But it didn't hit the mainstream until the 20th centuries when Eliyahu Rips discovered it, quote unquote, discovered it. He and several others claimed to find hidden prophecies within the Torah. not the Bible, the Torah, the Old Testament, not the New Testament, right? They tended to find hidden prophecies within the Torah. Well, it couldn't be the New Testament because of the language barriers, because the original New Testament was written in Greek, and so it wouldn't have matched the same ideologies, right? But what's interesting is, but in the 1980s and 90s, using gematria and this other stuff, they claim that they found these hidden messages. Then Michael Drosnin wrote the book, The Bible Code, and that book went crazy. It took this concept of these Jewish scholars and made it a worldwide phenomenon. That this secret code was there that we were all missing out on. It started claiming, prophecies. It had the word rabbin, like Yitzhak Rabin, was next to the word assassin, so they predicted that would happen. They went back and retroactively predicted World War II by searching words like Hitler, and they supposedly warned of 9/11 before the attack, but this was after the attack. Why did people get into this idea? Because it literally gave people the illusion of certainty in very chaotic times. Well, the sun started getting high, so I thought I better shift here before the top of my head blows out. The reason it all fell apart was because in 1999, several mathematicians got together to explore and see whether this was true. And they discovered they found the same codes in Moby Dick, in War and Peace, and several other documents. They said it was not an anomaly. It was just a statistical fact that when you put certain letters together, you're going to find patterns in all of it. Those of faith will say that's because that God is all powerful and God is in everything. But the reality of it is that they were able to prove that they could find all kinds of different codes, and some of the codes were just ridiculous and goofy. With enough letters, you can find almost any word anywhere. And what they discovered in their analysis was that the Bible code was just basically religious wishful thinking. They were looking for patterns within a book, but they could find the same various kinds of patterns in any book. And that it wasn't the Bible was some special code. It was just that people were looking for words that fit their modern times, fit what was going on in the world in their lifetime. And so they would seek out things.
And now, a quick word from our sponsor Coffee Time with John. This channel runs off coffee, so get your coffee and tea at johnsjoe.com.
But what happened was the predictions failed. The Bible code predictions started falling and failing and not coming true, and things went completely opposite of what they said. I mean, if the prophecies were to come true, in the year 2000, we would have had an apocalyptic nuclear war. That was 25 years ago. That nuclear war, that apocalyptic nuclear war that was supposed to happen according to the Bible code, supposedly happened 25 years ago. Now, the people who are apologists for this ideology will say, well, that's because we found out about it and we stopped it from happening. That is, once again, retroactive positioning based upon your own theology, your own belief. The concept of the Bible code is antithetical to everything that Jesus taught, everything that all the avatars of old taught. The concept of this predestined future is completely opposite of the idea that the kingdom of heaven is within you. The power of it all is within you, and that you are creating in the I am moment. I am that I am, not I will be that thing that you're thinking I saw in those letters and those words. It's I am that I am. It's here and now. And the reason we don't hear about it now is because it failed. It didn't happen. The things didn't happen. By the mid 2000s, academic community had basically dismantled the whole concept of the Bible code. We don't talk about it anymore. But you know what? People and specifically spiritual opportunists will find ways to make money. I mean, I know many of you probably have heard of Greg Braden. Greg Braden made his career with the Bible code. That was his thing. He was all about the Bible code and all this. Now he's talking about the Essene Gospel of Peace and the Gospel of the Holy 12, both of them known frauds. Spiritual opportunists will take anything they can get to sell. And what they sell is the population's idea that they don't know something secret or that there's some prophecy they should be afraid of in the future. But they're not about stepping into the power of the here and now because they're selling the past or the future, but they're not being in the now as I am that I am would state. After all of these people debunked it and started dismantling it, religious leaders stopped talking about it because they were talking about it big time. The religious leaders were talking about the Bible prophecy and how the Bible code and how this is going to be this amazing thing, and God is so beautiful and wonderful that He left this map book behind for us to follow. And when it started failing, they stopped talking about it. They stopped mentioning it. It just kind of disappeared from the sermons because it no longer served what they were doing. It no longer served putting people in awe or in fear. So now today, since the scientists have dismantled it and the religious people have just conveniently stopped talking about it, today it only really survives in the corners of the internet where conspiracy lives. Over there where the people are saying, oh, it's a big conspiracy, this Bible code thing. But in reality, you don't hear it in the mainstream people talking about it anymore because it was proven to be false. It was proven to be something that was wrong. Humanity has an obsession with secret codes or mysteries. You know, they want to find the truth that must be hidden. That Jeshua's teaching was radically uh, hidden, and we must find the truth of it. Well, it was radical. Love one another was radical in a time when power was in the Roman government or in the Jewish law. Jeshua never said you needed a code or a priest or a church or a communion wafer or any of those things. He said, "Here in the now, love one another. Think not upon tomorrow, be here today. Think not upon tomorrow, be here today," which means there's no Bible code, which means tomorrow is being created in the now. What you think you become, you create your world, Buddha, right? As a man thinketh, so is he, the Bible. It comes down to this idea of you are creating the experience around you. And if you are putting your faith in ideas of ancient conspiracies, prophecies, or something outside of the now, you're not living into your divinity in the moment. And the Bible code was a great marketing tool in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s to sell books, sell speeches, and create events around the Bible code itself. But once it was dismantled and debunked, it's no longer the thing that makes people money. And when you look at it from the perspective of the money they're making from these things, it's not about empowering you. It's about telling you you don't know something. It's about telling you you should be thinking something. It's giving you belief. And the belief it's giving you is the belief that someone's choosing for you to believe. And I don't mean that as a conspiracy. I mean, when someone markets something, they want you to believe something so you'll buy the product. And it's not a big conspiracy. It's simply marketing. You know, someone yesterday gave me a comment on something. I don't even remember what the topic was about. They said, "Well, it almost certainly means." Well, the second they said almost certainly, that literally gave me the foundation, the fact that they are basing their entire argument upon their own theology, their own chosen belief. And so it's an incestuous argument because they're not willing to look at anything else other than the almost certainly, because that was their chosen belief. It comes down to the idea that Bible codes and all these prophecies and ancient conspiracy theories and secret hidden knowledges are just the way they're selling you stuff. Be in the now, love one another, help that person up off the curb, open that door for that person, you know, do something nice for your neighbor. Take the time to love one another, to be with one another, and to look at it from the perspective of the idea of it's here and now. It's not a prophecy of the future or a missed opportunity of the past. It's here and now. It's right this moment. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and you can bring that kingdom to earth. You can bring it here and be the love. God is love, and if you can bring that love here to earth, you are bringing the kingdom of heaven to earth. You are moving mountains by simply loving one another. And this idea of searching for a code that's going to give you the keys to the universe, you don't need a key. The universe is within you. You don't need to find something to unlock something. You are already complete and whole. It's just a matter of you simplifying and coming back to that being love and going out and loving your fellow man, woman, child, and not based on anything like gender bias or homophobia or racism or any of those things. They're in love. That's fear. That's fear and hate. And none of those have anything to do with God because perfect love drives out fear. And if you're in that state of not liking another for not believing the same as you or being the same gender as you or loving someone different than you would love, then you're the one who's suffering in fear. They're not. You're the one who's suffering in fear if you are judging someone else. Judge not, lest ye shall be judged, because judging someone means you're showing the world that you're a judgmental person. Take this moment and love one another. There's no Bible code you need. There's nothing in the Bible that tells you anything more important than love one another. I leave you one commandment, love one another. I am the fulfillment of the law. In other words, just love one another and that fulfills it. I am love. Be love. Live love. Forget the codes. Forget the conspiracies of the past and the prophecies of the future. Be love in the present moment here and now, and your world will transform around you. And that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.